No, I've heard quite enough from the member. Question number 12, Joanne Hayes.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for the Environment. What reports has he received on the environmental components of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and how do these compare with other free trade agreements entered into by New Zealand?
The Honourable
Mr.
Dr
Speaker.
Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, I have received a report by the Environment Ministry, and it states that the TPP sets a new benchmark for environmental provisions in trade agreements and goes significantly further than the current 8 agreements that New Zealand is party to. The most significant new features cover conservation of flora and fauna, illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing, protection of sharks, seabirds, turtles and marine mammals, transition to a low-carbon economy, tackling alien invasive species, and also includes provisions in liberalising trade in both environmental goods and services.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Joanne Hayes.
Thank you. How will the TPP strengthen environmental regulation across the 12 partner countries, and what other tools does it support to ensure the environmental benefits from the agreement?
Mr Speaker.
The Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker,
Either of those two supplementary questions.
a key difference from previous trade agreements is that this is the first in which the environmental chapter is enforceable and includes dispute settlement processes. This means that if countries are not meeting their obligations around addressing issues like illegal fishing or conservation of endangered species or protection of the ozone layer, that there's actually an enforcement mechanism that strengthens those environmental components. The second part is that TPP also puts an obligation on countries to encourage tools like the Marine Stewardship Council and Forest Stewardship Council certification schemes for products like New Zealand's important fish and forestry exports. That's important for New Zealand and creates opportunities because we manage both our fish and our forests more sustainably than most countries.
Order. The answer's very long.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Joanne Hayes.
What response has there been from environmental groups to the TPP?
Mr Speaker.
The Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, WWF has noted that the TPP goes further than any other trade agreement. It says that it is a game changer in addressing pressures on fisheries, on wildlife and on forests. The reality is that environmental issues like protecting our forests, oceans and wildlife actually do require a coordinated international response, and I would encourage opponents of TPP to take note of WWF's advice and actually support what makes not just economic sense, but good environmental sense.
And that concludes questions for oral answer. Would some honourable member care to move that the House take note of miscellaneous business?